Really excited about Franz Wagner, one of the most disruptive forward defensive players in the country, versus Joe Wieskamp, one of the best offensive forwards in the country. Two guys could be good on NBA players. Should be an awesome matchup to watch today.
Quick inbound shot is off the mark, now underneath, and they're going to get a foul on Michigan. Garza draws it. He draws a ton of fouls.
It looks like they're going to call that one on Garza, actually. We might have a hook and hold situation here.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
And they're going to the monitor. Could be a situation where Luka Garza gets that, what do they call it, a flagrant one type of hook and hold kind of rule now. Again, really just so impressive. This was the matchup that we looked at. Everybody talked about, national media outlets, everybody talked. It's Luka Garza versus Hunter Dickinson. Like I said, Dickinson has been such a strong force this year to where he hasn't really let any Big Ten big, he hasn't played Kofi Coburn yet, of course, but he hasn't had any Big Ten big really back him down. And Garza tried it on 2 possessions there and had no chance. He took 2 really bad shots, and Dickinson shut him down. Like I talked about earlier as well here, Michigan just proved against Ohio State that they can win an absolute shootout. That was a 92-87 game where both teams shot 53% from the floor. In a game like this, where Iowa, we know they're a very productive offense. They're 4th in the country in points per game, but defensively, they're 237th in the country in terms of points per game. So, if Iowa is going to want to win this game, knowing that Michigan can easily win in a shootout, they're going to have to play a little bit better defensively against a team like Michigan that is balanced both offensively and defensively. Drain, this is such an awesome game, and I am so excited for this one. Huge one here in Ann Arbor, baby.
17:55 remaining now in the first half. 4-0 Michigan on top. Flagrant 1 foul on Garza. So Franz Wagner will go to the free throw line. And first free throw pops out. Second one on the way. Does a couple dribbles and now goes up with it. And it goes through. 5-0 Michigan the score.
Yeah, key flagrant foul there on Luka Garza. Again, they just implemented that rule last year. That hook and hold has been called fairly often. As you see Illinois here in a 1-3-1 diamond press, full court.
They get it into Dickinson. Now Smith will bring the ball up. Gets a quick screen. Now over to Livers. Livers flips into the middle looking for Wagner. And it's picked off. Bohannon comes up the court to McCaffrey. And then that pass batted away by Livers, but then they get it right back. Dribbling with it is Bohannon underneath. His shot, easy look at the basket, and he just missed it.
Yeah, Iowa's just rushing their shots quite a bit here. There's 2 opportunities where they had nice looking shots and both rushed them and missed them.
Dickinson with the ball back out Smith. Now they find Brooks open for 3, and his shot just a little off the mark, but that's a wide open look.
Yeah, if Michigan gets those looks all game, it's going to be a pretty comfortable ball game here for the Wolverines.
Now we're going to get a foul on Dickinson.
Yeah, early one on Hunter there, so, you know, Coach Howard's got kind of the same philosophy that John Beilein had when he was at Michigan. When a guy gets that first foul before the first media timeout, he's going to sub him out. And right here, you see Austin Davis checking the ball game.
Quick inbound there to Garza. Backing in on Davis. Quick shot, and it's good.
Yeah, this is going to be the matchup that's going to be really tough for the Wolverines. Austin Davis is big and strong, but he doesn't have that kind of side-to-side athleticism to keep up with Garza. That could be a really interesting situation where the Wolverines might consider doubling.
Livers backing in. Now he'll step back on McCaffrey. That was an awkward fadeaway shot. And rebound down by Iowa. Up the court they come, and now we're going to get a foul on Davis, trying to wall off Garza underneath. 16:33 to go here in the first half. That is the second team foul on Michigan, and both fouling Garza. Iowa inbounds it in. Now they drive baseline, and a quick little floater goes down. Now 5-4 there. The shot for C.J. Frederick. Mike Smith with the ball. Over to Austin Davis.
Yeah, Frederick's another guy that can make a huge difference for this Iowa team. First team all freshman Big Ten last year. He's got a lot of potential there.
And Smith turns it over inside. Up the floor they come. Bohannon, quick pull up from 3, and it's good. And now a quick 7-0 run from the Hawkeyes puts them on top.
Yeah, that's a Jordan Bohannon thing right there, man. He's got such a quick trigger. His three-point percentage has really gotten worse from his freshman year to now, but he's still so capable from that deep.
Wagner misses a shot underneath, and Iowa grabs down the rebound. Michigan's gone cold the last few minutes. Now they get it quickly to Garza, but it goes off his mitts. Michigan picks it up. They'll run the floor the other way.
Could have easily been a foul call there on Franz.
Brooks outside to Wagner. Fadeaway jumper, no. Davis, the rebound, count it, and a foul. And I think they're going to review, flop warning, and we'll head to the commercial timeout.
Interesting. Couple really interesting calls to start off here. We had a hook and hold, which we talked about is being utilized a little more by the referees, but not that much. And then a flop call. I mean, don't get me wrong, Iowa and Wisconsin are notorious for flopping. We got Brad Davison and Luka Garza, two of the biggest floppers in the entire country. Don't get me wrong, they might call that. But I don't know, a situation like that in a game like this with two top 10 teams, some or even argue Iowa, had a lot of top 5 AP votes. This is a big game here, and calling stuff like that is a really, really interesting to set the tone here. Only 5 minutes into the ball game.
Well, in the first media timeout, 15:21 to go in the first half. Michigan 7, Iowa 7. 38% from the field for the Hawkeyes, 33% for the Wolverines. Field goals, 3 of the last 3 for Iowa. They're starting to heat up a little bit after the good early defense.
Yeah, I think with Iowa, too, we talked about it even last year with the Michigan game. Luka Garza dropped 40-plus points, and the Wolverines were still able to win that game here in Ann Arbor. Even if Luka Garza is dominating, Michigan can win this game. If Luka Garza is not dominating, if he's not dropping a 25, 30-point game, against a team like Michigan, that's just not going to fly. Michigan, if Luka Garza, or Iowa, if Luka Garza is not dominating, is going to struggle often. And that kind of stuff can pass against teams like Indiana, even though Iowa lost at Indiana this year. Teams like, Nebraska or Penn State, Northwestern, that might work. But you play against a team like the Wolverines that can defend so well, but also is very capable of scoring like we saw last Sunday. You got to have your best player have a star game.
7-7, 15:21 to go. Both teams in the huddle. Michigan in their home white uniforms, Iowa in the black road uniforms.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate here. A game like this, it was supposed to happen on March 3rd. A lot of people thought this was going halfway through the Big Ten year. People thought this was going to be the deciding game for the Wolverines and the Hawkeyes to who was going to win the Big Ten. Iowa's been playing well of late, but man, they had a stretch where they lost 4 out of 5. They lost to Indiana at home, lost at Illinois, played really poorly against a Michigan State team that was struggling at the time. MSU starting to play better now, but at the time, they only got a 6-point win against Michigan State. And then obviously they lost to Ohio State and then Indiana again. That 4 out of 5 game run where they dropped those games, that kind of took them right out of the Big Ten picture. Since then, they've been playing good basketball, beating Rutgers at Michigan State, gave Tom Izzo his greatest loss that he's ever had at home, and then beat Wisconsin on the road, a pretty good win, and then home against Penn State. But, man, in the Big Ten, when you have a run like that, and you have teams that are as good as Michigan and Illinois, you can't afford, and you're not going to be able to kind of respond to a run like that and try to win the Big Ten. And Iowa really, really killed themselves in that couple-week span.
Well, out of the timeout, Michigan should have a free throw here for Austin Davis. Actually, no foul was called. It was just a flop warning. Okay, so Iowa will inbound at their own baseline.
Wolverines out here with the full court press. Again, same thing, 1-3-1 diamond press. Franz Wagner at the top, tall, lengthy, disruptive.
McCaffrey dribbles out of it. Hands it off to Bohannon. Bohannon watches Smith and passes it over. Now getting around his screen, and a quick shot there for Frederick. It rattles around and goes down.
Still no Hunter Dickinson on the floor. Jawan's keeping him on the bench with that early foul.
Smith across half court. Finds Isaiah Livers. Wagner fighting through contact. Davis jostling for position. They get it to him at the elbow. Now he'll back in on Garza. And he's run out of space. Goes up with the shot and missed the rim entirely. Iowa comes down and with the rebound, and now we have a quick foul called.
Another whistle. Something with a sideline warning, it looks like. You know, Alex, this is one of those situations. Just swallow the whistle. Let the game flow naturally.
They're going to review something. I don't know if it's a flop or embellishment.
I just don't know.
No idea.
I just don't know. This is a top 10 basketball game. You call hook and hold that we couldn't see the angle from high up here, but a lot of people are saying it was a very, very weak hook and hold call. Fran McCaffrey is going nuts right now. Oh, Fran McCaffrey better be careful. He might get teed up here. It's still going back to that previous point, and Jawan is going. Something is being said here between Fran and Jawan a little bit, because Jawan came stepping out in the court. I have no idea what's going on. I'm acting like a big fight's about to happen. I don't know what's going on. But again,
they didn't review anything for very long, and now they spent most of that time talking to the coaches.
Yeah, Fran McCaffrey's upset about something. And I honestly, I can't blame him so far. We've gotten a flop warning, we've gotten a hook and hold, and then some random review about something.
They're trying to communicate to the public address announcer to fill the fans in what's going on.
Jawan is not happy. I don't know what's going on right now. This is interesting. I'm curious to see. Yeah, really curious.
Now the review just keeps. Now they're going back to review. The fans that are here, which are all family members, are getting very restless.
Yeah,
Now they're going to resume play, and we still have no indication what any of that was.
Well, hey, you know what, Jane? We're playing basketball, baby. It's about time.
Bohannon to Garza. Now across. Back around. And dribbling inside Wieskamp. Guarded by Livers. The step on Livers inside and finishing through contact. That's now 5 straight field goals made by Iowa. Michigan has just won for their last 7.
Yeah, we know Iowa is a super efficient offense, the #1 efficient offense in the country to Ken Palm. But Michigan's got to limit them. They can't be this efficient.
A quick pull-up jumper made there by Mike Smith. Dribbling around with it. Here's Bohannon. Now way across, and they find Wieskamp in the corner again, this time guarded by Wagner. Kicks it out to Bohannon. Smith is on him.
Great job by Franz to keep Wieskamp there in front there. Wieskamp's one of the best players in the country there. Franz did a great job.
Back out to Wieskamp. Pull up from 3, and that one off the mark. Eli Brooks, the rebound.
Just an absolute great defensive possession there by Franz. I mean, Wieskamp keeping him in front, forcing him to take a bad shot. Big possession there from Franz.
Find Austin Davis, and he misses at the basket. Pretty easy look there. And just off the mark, he starts 1 for 3. And now we have a quick foul up the floor. So substitutions getting ready to come in.
Yeah, at this point, I think you got to start trusting Hunter Dickinson to play on the floor with an early foul. Austin Davis clearly is not doing the job offensively. He had 2 pretty solid looks at the basket and just missed both of them. So it looks like they're going to sub him out and go with Brandon Johns, which is an interesting, really big height disadvantage here now with Nunji checking in for the Hawkeyes. I'm curious to see when Hunter is going to enter back in the floor.
Yeah, they made a switch. Johns onto the floor, and he loses Nunge right away. And a quick 3-pointer hard off the heel, tipped around. Wagner to it. Now Brooks is the one that comes away from the mosh pit with it. Livers up the floor. Across to Eli Brooks. Hands it off to Livers. Looking for Brandon Johns. Livers pass across to Brooks. Now back to Livers. Open for three. Boom! And that's a big three-pointer Michigan needed. They go up by one, 12-11. 12:26 to go in the first half.
That's just Isaiah Livers. That's what he does, baby. He can rise, elevate, and hit those kind of shots. Even with the hand in the face, man, he's just so dangerous.
And just a terrible pass there from Bohannon going way over the head of the intended target underneath. And Michigan will take over after the turnover. Both teams shooting under 45% from the field so far, and only one three-pointer made for each team. That's a little surprising here early on. Brooks, nice pass underneath, looking for Johns. He's swatted, gets it right back though, puts up the rebound, no, and then grabbed down by Keegan Murray.
Yeah, if you're Johns there and you get that rebound, you got to kick it back out. Reset the offense and try to get something else to work, because that was not a good shot there by Brandon.
There was a dribble between the legs of Franz Wagner there.
I think we got an injury.
And now
there
there's an injury underneath. I think
it looks like it's Nunji.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, Jack Nunji, the sophomore. 6'11" guy, super tall, but has a really, really good mid-range game. He's shooting 30% from three this year, so it's capable. It's dangerous. It makes you stretch the floor out. But man, I was watching his high school tape, and Jack has got a really, really nice mid-range game. So once Luka takes over, man, they still can be really, really dangerous in the front court, as he's got his arms around a couple of his coaches. Fran McCaffrey, one of them, is kind of walking him off the floor.
Yeah, he looks definitely not great at the moment. Very hobbled. And the referees were quick to call an injury timeout. They must have saw something as he went down. We're in a commercial timeout, so we haven't seen a replay yet.
Yeah, with Nunji getting out here, we're gonna see Luka Garza check right back into the floor. With Luka out there, I know Juwan wants to be careful with Hunter Dickinson having that foul. He's going to need him in the second half. I'm going with Hunter. I'm trusting his intelligence and his IQ as a basketball player to be able to relax himself and play defense with that single foul. You got to go with it. Brandon Johns will get bullied down the paint with Luka Garza. It's not that Brandon Johns is a bad defender. He just doesn't have the size to compete with Luka. Curious to see if Hunter's going to come back out on the floor.
11:49 to go in the first half. Michigan 12, Iowa 11. So far, both teams haven't had the just total offensive dominance that we were expecting to see yet. Iowa's 5 of their last 7 from the field, but they haven't scored in over 2 minutes. And both teams huddling up. Here as we continue to sit between these two teams. Both have been in the top 5 at different points in the season. Of course, Michigan is currently in the top 5.
I mean, yeah, a lot of, I was actually looking at some of the AP rankings and trying to come up with my own. There's a lot of teams above Iowa that I just don't believe should be there. Illinois is still up there. They just lost to Michigan State. Didn't look particularly good. I think Villanova is still ahead of Iowa. Ohio State, they're ahead of Iowa. They deserve to be there. But I really think Iowa's a top 5 team in the country. I don't think there's many teams out there in the country that are as dangerous as Iowa. Offensively, of course, they can hang with anything or hang with anyone. Their defense is really their big problem.
Well, and Iowa's, they had a skid there in early February where they lost 4 out of 5 games, but they've won 4 straight since then, beating Rutgers and Wisconsin, as well as blasting Michigan State by 30. Yep. So it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, they're going to play Ohio State right after this, and so that will definitely be a test for the Hawkeyes. But if they can get 1 or 2 wins here against Michigan and Ohio State, that'll get them right back into the top 5.
Especially a road win against either one of those teams. Obviously in the Big Ten, that is so huge. That's why Ohio State is at the spot that they're at. They travel to Wisconsin they travel to Madison and beat Wisconsin, travel to Champaign and beat Illinois. They went to Iowa's home gym and beat them as well. So when you get 3 away wins like that in the Big Ten, it sets you up so nicely. Iowa, if they can sneak one out here or sneak one out in Columbus, You're starting to talk them back into that 1 seed conversation.
Now they're going to inbound it from the baseline. As we come out of this timeout, flip it high into the air. Garza grabs it. Now dribbling inside. Quick little shot from Bohannon, and it goes down.
Yeah, Jordan Bohannon is just so quick, man. The 2 guards for Iowa, Toussaint and Bohannon, both are just so disruptive and so quick that I have a little bit of worry to see if Eli and Mike Smith can kind of keep in front of those 2 guys.
13-12 Hawkeyes. Nice pass, Brooks to Johns, and he misses an easy layup. Gets his own rebound, and he travels underneath. Michigan right now, I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but they just really are struggling at the basket at the moment.
Yeah, John just rushed 2 shots there. He got his own rebound twice, and then first time put up a terrible shot, and then traveled there. You have to go with Hunter Dickinson. Go with your guy. I know he's got a foul. I understand. But you got to let your player, you got to trust your player to play smart, and you got to do that with Hunter right now.
Passing around on the outside. Bohannon dribbles. It's a quick pump fake.
Really
Might
close.
Traveled,
sure
yeah.
Looked like a double dribble.
Now, quick three-pointer there at the end of the shot clock. Falls a little short.
Yep.
13-12, still Iowa on top. Shawnee Brown drives into the lane, bulldozes his way there, but then misses the shot off the backboard. Michigan continues to shoot dreadfully at the rim.
Yeah, Michigan really needs to slow down. I mean, they get in the ball in these positions, and they feel like they have to force up a shot.
Quick drive there and a nice finish by Keegan Murray.
Hunter Dickinson and Mike Smith both at the check-in table, so Hunter will be back in. You know, I think that's been the biggest problem with these possessions for Michigan. They don't have a guy they can just dump inside to slow down the offense. They feel like they have to force these drives and have to penetrate the lane and take these bad shots.
Livers with the ball. Dribbles into the lane, kicks it out. Brooks open for 3, puts it off the heel. Tipped around, Garza loses it, and Michigan's going to get an extended possession. They've got numbers as a player went flailing. Now Livers open from 3, and he knocks it down.
Good job to stay with that. Shawnee Brown, the most energetic player in the Big Ten, arguably the 6th man of the year, keeps that play alive. Eli gets a rebound and dishes it out there to Livers.
Garza comes right up the floor and finishes on Johns underneath. 17-15, Iowa on top. Michigan shooting 2 for 4 from 3. Their issue has been from the 2s, where they're just 4 of 15 so far.
Yeah, inside the paint, man, they're really, really struggling.
Livers underneath, and he traveled.
It's not like there's a really strong presence inside the paint. We just talked about how Luka Garza is not that great of a rim protector. But for some reason, once Michigan gets in the inside, they are just forcing these shots. Again, they need that presence of Hunter Dickinson. Fortunately for the Wolverines, he checks in. Brandon John still out on the floor. Looks like he took off Livers and Eli Brooks.
Now up the floor comes Joe Toussaint.
Guy I really love. I love Joe Toussaint, man. He is a sophomore here for Iowa. He is so fast, man. Lightning quick. I think he should get more minutes for Iowa. I think he's only playing 11 minutes a game. He needs more than that, because that guy, I'm telling you, man, he's kind of like Shawnee Brown. He's just that electric factor for the Hawkeyes. Plays differently from the rest of the team.
There's a kick ball. Now they inbound it back in. Keegan Murray dribbles into the paint. Step back, long 2 off the mark. Tipped around. Garza went hard for the rebound, and it tipped out to McCaffrey. Now they'll reset the possession. Toussaint on Smith. Kick it out now. Quick pump fake. McCaffrey drives underneath, tipped around, and we're going to have a foul over the back on Iowa, I think on Garza.
Yeah, it's either on Garza or going to be on Keegan Murphy.
It is going to be Keegan Murray.
Yeah, Keegan Murray, excuse me. Yeah, big, good possession there. Hunter Dickinson got beat off the dribble. So Johns had to show a little bit, kind of help out on D, and he had a good stance there. A really good job protecting the rim.
Well, Johns comes out now, and Terrence Williams checks in for Michigan. Shawnee Brown around to Williams, now hands it to Mike Smith. Smith gets a screen from Dickinson, dribbles inside, kicks to Dickinson, and he goes up with the shot now, gets his own rebound and finishes.
Well, Hunter Dickinson does best, man. He's so big and long that even when he misses his own shot, he's always right there. He's so active on those boards offensively and defensively.
Quick pass underneath, and then stripped out of bounds off the leg there of Wieskamp, and then Michigan will take over. Another turnover. That's now 4 for Iowa offensively.
Yeah, big possession there. No, we always talk about the disruptiveness of Franz Wagner. That's why a lot of teams are NBA teams starting to look at him as a potential lottery pick because he's so dynamic both offensively and defensively. They totally just showed it there.
Smith dribbles into the paint, and he falls down. They're going to say he was bumped. With 8:07 remaining in the first half, that'll be a foul, and now team third on Iowa, 3 on Michigan, 3 on Iowa. Not many fouls so far.
Yeah, Toussaint picking up his first foul. Just kind of out of position and stuck his leg out as Mike was driving.
Wagner's entry pass to Dickinson is knocked away. That was a dangerous pass. A lot of bodies underneath. Toussaint picks it up, comes up the floor. Smith is watching him.
Mismatch. Shaundi on Luka Garza.
Murray tries to go inside to Garza. Batted away by Wagner, and we hit the under 8 timeout.
Yeah, really beautiful recognition there by Franz Wagner. He saw that Shaundi Brown was stuck on Luka Garza, and Shaundi was fronting Luka. So he knew there was space in between Luka Garza and the basket. So when they tried that over-the-top pass, Franz crashed down really hard and swatted that ball away. Again, that's just really high basketball IQ that we see from Franz Wagner. He's got the offensive skills and the defensive skills to be a really capable NBA player, but it's the little things like that that separate good players from great players. And that's just a beautiful high IQ play there from a guy that really last Sunday, Alex, didn't play his best game. So I was curious to see how he bounced back today. And so far, defensively, he's been really disruptive.
Well, and we look at the stats now at the under 8 timeout, and it's just a very unusual game. Only 9 attempted three-pointers from the two teams. Iowa 1 for 5, Michigan 1 for 2. And overall, both teams shooting under 50% from the field. Just not a lot happening at the current moment.
Yeah, this is not the game that I thought it would be. I think what do we say the over-under was set at? 145 or 155 it was set at.
Yeah.
So obviously they're expecting this game to be more of a shootout, similar to Michigan and Ohio State. But both of these teams kind of rushing their possessions. They've had some looks, especially Michigan in the paint, like we've been talking about. They've had their looks. They're just not converting. So, I'm curious to see. Wieskamp right now, really, he's only got 2 points. Their second best player, their best wing player. And Luka Garza only with 4. If Michigan can hold Wieskamp and Luka Garza to low totals like they're at right now, there's no reason in the world that Michigan shouldn't win this game, let alone dominate this game.
Yeah, definitely, one of the questions at the current moment really is that Michigan has missed 4 or 5 bunnies at the rim, and what the game could be if Michigan is making those with consistency. At least something to consider at the moment. 17 all, 7:50 remaining here in the first half. Looking at the split box, Livers leads the way with 6 for Michigan on 2 3-pointers. Bohannon with 5 for Iowa. Very balanced game, not super offensive right now. Both teams huddling up at the moment. And Iowa coming out of the timeout. They are headed to the offensive end of the floor where they'll have the ball. Inbounding from the baseline. Toussaint will do the inbound. He finds McCaffrey in the corner. Guarded by Shaundi Brown. Back to McCaffrey. He's got an open 3 look. Passed it up. Instead goes to his brother in the middle. Now they go outside. Wieskamp drives baseline. Nice defense there from Shaundi Brown. Now to Garza. Fadeaway jumper, and he missed everything. Shot clock expired. Michigan grabbed the rebound anyway, though. Terrence Williams comes up the floor with it. Williams hands it off to Smith.
Yeah, it's been 3 possessions where Hunter Dickinson's on Luka Garza, and Luka just looks so uncomfortable. Good possessions there by Hunter.
Wagner across to Dickinson. Dickinson backing in, puts up an awkward shot, and it goes off the high glass and down.
Should have been an and one, man. Luka was really physical on Hunter's off arm. I really thought that should have been an and one, which would have been Luka's second foul. Would have been huge.
Toussaint brings it up in transition. And holding it outside is Wieskamp. Sorry, McCaffrey rather. Now kicks it out to Wieskamp. There's a shot off the iron. Now Michigan's running up in transition. Wagner with it, lays it up and lays it in.
Too easy, baby. Mike Smith, again, probably the best passer in the Big Ten right now. Just is so good at getting to the lane and finding that open guy. A 2-on-1 fast break, perfectly executed.
That ball is jarred loose for a moment from Wieskamp. Now Toussaint with it, dribbles just inside the three-point arc. Hands it off Garza for three, and he puts that one off the heel. And we're going to have a foul underneath.
I think they're going to get Terrence Williams with an elbow. They're going to look at this one. Going to the monitor again, baby. We got as much monitor time as we do game time right now. We got an electric game here in Ann Arbor.
Haven't seen a replay yet, as they just showed us the transition possession. Now they're showing us the Dickinson finish off the high glass. Still waiting to see what happened underneath.
As soon as the play resulted, as soon as the play finished, the referee kind of gave that elbow indicator, raising his arm, and he pointed right at Terrence Williams. So, without seeing the replay, sure looked like they were looking at Terrence for something. T. Will, obviously that freshman from D.C., obviously the DMV boys with T. Will and Hunter Dickinson. Those are two guys that bring a lot of energy. A lot of people love Terrence Williams' attitude. I love it too. He's one of those guys that you can tell in the locker room is a really exciting guy. Offensively, he's got a lot to go, man. He's got ways to improve. Offensively, he's not too much of a threat. Defensively, he's pretty good. I actually really like his defensive poise, especially guarding the 3 and 4 spot. He's never going to be quick enough to guard the 2 at 6'5", but 3 and 4, he's got the strength and composure to be a disruptive defender. He could be really good in the future for Michigan.
Well, it does not appear they handed out a flagrant foul. And they're just going to inbound it from the baseline. Iowa puts Bohannon back in the game. Bohannon underneath to Garza, goes up with the shot. Mike Smith grabs down the rebound. And he's running in transition again. Kicks to Williams in the corner. T-Will's 3 is off the mark. Dickinson the rebound, out to Smith. His three-pointer off the mark. Smith grabs the rebound. Out to Livers. Now finds Eli Brooks to Dickinson. Michigan will reset the offensive possession. Brooks dribbles in the paint, lays it up. No, swatted away. Up the floor they come with it. Bohannon to Wieskamp. Guarded by Williams. Inside, kicks it out. McCaffrey didn't go up with the shot. Instead, bounce passes. And Garza looked like he traveled.
Absolute walk. Got away with it, but it doesn't matter, baby. Hunter Dickinson playing elite defense this game.
Yeah, Garza now 4 points on 2 of 8 from the field. Smith with the ball across to Eli Brooks. Now to Dickinson, to Smith. Flips it outside. Williams back to Smith in the corner. Little off-arm action. Smith takes the shot, and it just dribbles off the rim. Iowa comes up the floor. Garza with it outside. Both teams now shooting 35% or under from the field.
Garza had an ISO on the right wing, and he just wanted nothing there of Hunter Dickinson.
There's a Garza 3 that goes down.
As he hit the 3, the good old jinx, baby. Talking about how he wants nothing with it, then buries a 3. But again, he had that one-on-one situation on the right wing with Hunter Dickinson. Most bigs, he wants to eat that up, and he passed the ball right away.
Assist goes to Frederick on that play. Pass out to Brooks, almost lost it on an over and back, but recovers, and he's got 15 on the shot clock. Dickinson the screen. Brooks around to Williams. To Dickinson, back outside. Williams open for 3 again, and that shot off the mark, but Livers.
The hustle, baby.
Hustles to it. His three-pointer off the mark. Michigan just firing away in the last couple of possessions.
The hustle is good there, but when you get an offensive rebound and you're in that kind of situation where Livers has to go back out behind the arc, just reset the offense. Find something new. Maybe dish into Hunter Dickinson. Don't got to force something like that.
Dribbling around with it. Step back three is good from Jordan Bohannon. We know he has the ability to do that, and now Juwan Howard's going to take a timeout.
Yeah, Jordan Bohannon, the guy, man. When he was a freshman, his first 2 years at Iowa, freshman shot 42% from three. Sophomore year, shot 43% from three. We obviously know that free throw story he had where he had the chance to break an Iowa record for most consecutive free throws, and he missed it on purpose to honor the record that was Chris Street's. I think he ended up saying it was like, it's not my record or something like that. It wasn't my record to have. So obviously we know Jordan Bohannon's a good guy, but his three-point shooting has kind of decreased as the years have gone on. I think he's expecting himself to have a bigger scoring role, so his shot selection hasn't been very good. But, you know, he's still a guy that's so dangerous. And what makes him so dangerous, he's got such that fast clip. You know, Hunter Dickinson, before he could really close out and be disruptive, he just threw that shot up there, man. He buried it. He absolutely buried it.
.357 remaining in the first half. Iowa 23, Michigan 21. And Terrence Williams has now taken a pair of three-point attempts and has not hit either, but that's a little surprising. Not really known as an outside shooter, especially not in the limited playing time he gets.
Yeah, I mean, two fairly wide open shots, too. One of those situations where they're just not respecting his three-point shooting ability from T. Will at all. So he's just sitting there alone by himself. You might as well jack him up. It's obviously probably the highest percentage shot on the floor. But again, Michigan they just kind of seem out of sync. And we haven't seen, I don't know how many minutes we've had of the starting five being on the floor together. You know, we've had T. Will in there for a long time. Brendan Johnson's in there for a while. Austin Davis was in there for a while. Just, I don't know, something about the offense right now that just doesn't seem like it's, you know, kind of firing on all cylinders.
These have been long commercial timeouts, long huddles at both benches, but the first half chugged along. We've got the final 4 minutes now of the half upcoming.
Yeah, if you were to tell the Wolverines with 4 minutes to go before the half and you were holding, you know, Wieskamp and Garza to only 9 points total, you would think that the Wolverines are winning this game by 5 or 6. You know, it hasn't really been that situation. The Wolverines have not been able to convert on the offensive end. We've talked about the interior struggles offensively, and Jordan Bohannon's kind of been that guy that's replaced it. 2 of 2 from 3, 3 or 4 from the floor. Just has kind of filled the shoes there, especially from Wieskamp. A guy in the last 5 games that has been pretty darn spectacular. Last 5 games, 18, 26, 21, 17, and scored 11 against Penn State, so been double digits the last 5 games. Really, really good player. Just kind of hasn't found his groove yet. Today.
Well, both huddles now are breaking. Hawkeye players coming back out onto the floor. Michigan will have the ball after the made three-pointer there from Bohannon. We'll see who they roll with. It looks like it's the starting 5 back out there, and you might be right. This might be the first time they've all been together since Dickinson left the floor early on.
And Iowa coming back, and it looks like it's a 1-2-2 press. 1-2-2 full court press. Now they're going
to try and double Mike Smith. They get it in to him.
And Iowa's a team that really is not dangerous in a full court press because they can't match the athleticism of a lot of teams. You know, they have a lot of really slow guys in there. Wieskamp, Frederick's not particularly fast.
And it looks like it's going to be a turnover for Michigan. 10-second. They didn't get it across half court.
There was just no sense of urgency on that, Drain. It didn't look like...
It was interesting because Smith looked like he had the seam to run up the floor, and he stopped before he got across half court, which he cannot do.
Yeah, Wolverines just got to slow themselves. I mean, obviously got to speed themselves up to beat the 10 seconds, but mentally they got to slow down. They just got to do what they've been doing all year. Because clearly what's going on right now is not working.
Frederick outside. Caffrey dribbles around with it. Now he sets it up to Garza. 5 already on the shot clock. That's a tough hook, and good defense from Dickinson. Livers grabs down the rebound. 3:15 to go in the first half.
I'm telling you, the defensive intensity that Hunter's bringing today, the goal to be effective on the defensive end is working so well.
Wagner dribbles underneath, wraparound layup is good.
Look at that too there. Another way that Hunter Dickinson, it's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but a really nice bury of Luka Garza there. He saw Franz going under the basket, so he kind of sealed off Garza and left a wide open lane there for Franz. Good play.
Bohannon up to Frederick, dribbles in the lane, and it goes down, and now the buzzer's going off.
What is going on, dude? We got static on our feed. We got a review every 5 seconds. We got buzzers going off. You're probably gonna hear something from Georgia in a hot second.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Have to figure out what happened there with the scoreboard operator.
How the referees are taught. Guys, it was an accident. Someone clicked the buzzer.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
But now it'll be an inbound situation, and Iowa can put the press back down. But now the referee is having to talk. I think they have to see if time elapsed.
Yeah.
Not sure if the clock didn't start. Yep. Now they have to review and see if the clock was running when it shouldn't have.
I'm telling you, if there's some sort of drinking game going on where there's a review, there's an odd call, there's a buzzer going off, there's music playing in the middle of the play, these people are having themselves a good night right now because there's some weird stuff going on here in Ann Arbor tonight. In a top 10 matchup, come on, people, get your stuff together. Let's go. I want to enjoy this basketball game. We got a good one here. Let's do it.
2:45 to go in the first half, probably, depending on how much time they put back on the clock. Iowa 25, Michigan 23.
Yeah, no indication quite yet of what's going on. I think you're told, yeah, they did. They just put 9 seconds back on the clock. 9 seconds? Yeah, I think it's 9 seconds.
Well, Livers will do the inbound, and it allows Iowa to set up their defense on an inbound play. Livers finds Mike Smith. Now they're watching him. He flips it over to Livers. Michigan's going to be able to break it this time easily. Smith across to Brooks. He's got an open three. Passed it up. Now out to Smith.
I like it. Not rushing the three there by Eli or Mike Smith. Setting up that offense. A great play, good patience.
They get it inside to Dickinson. He's doubled. Beautiful pass. Wagner all alone for three.
Right there. See, that is why you're patient. You get the ball inside of Hunter Dickinson, and you force Iowa to double team. So many good things can happen because Dickinson is a great passer out of that double team, and the Wolverines convert on a three-point play. Beautiful job there by the Wolverines.
Now McCaffrey with the ball, and Iowa's been going late in the shot clock on a lot of possessions today.
Not typical of this Hawkeye basketball team.
Garza now already 10 on the shot clock. They haven't really gotten inside the three-point arc. Now he dribbles in the lane, tries to shoot on Dickinson, who swatted him.
Hunter Dickinson, so great defensively so far. Great possession there, too.
Now they get it inside. Dickinson puts it up, count it, and a foul.
That is a really close play there. I think it was Frederick came across and just absolute bear hugged Hunter, too. And they're talking this might not be an and one.
And they're saying it was before the shot.
That is
I don't know about that call.
Hunter Dickinson's up in the air, has already elevated into a shot, and they're calling that it was on the floor. I mean, it doesn't get much more obvious than this. We're seeing the replay right now. It's close. It's
definitely close. It looked closer on that angle than it had previously.
Right. He's upwards into his motion. You got to call that a shot. I mean, that's why the NBA has their continuation rule, right? The process of going up in the shot doesn't start when someone gets up in the air. It's when they begin to elevate into that shot.
Now Dickinson back with it off the inbound. He takes a tough shot and gets it to go. Dickinson's really made a difference. Now 8 points on 4 of 6 from the field. Bohannon comes running up the floor. Back to McCaffrey. Now we've got 85 seconds remaining in the first half. McCaffrey, nice pass underneath, and a shot is missed there. But we've got a foul, I think, on Michigan.
I think that's Dickinson's second. Really kind of weird play there. You know, we saw Bohannon, or was it Frederick? I think Frederick was, no, it was Bohannon. Bohannon was driving into the lane and kind of missed his shot. But as he was falling down, Dickinson didn't give him space to fall down. So it's kind of those one after fouls.
Yeah.
You see on the replay. Like Hunter's, it's just kind of one of those plays where he didn't disrupt the shot, but he didn't give him a chance to land safely. So, I mean, you got to call that a foul. You got to call that a foul.
He had two 2 free throws here for Bohannon. 2 fouls on Dickinson. Looks like they're going to bring in Davis for the rest of the half. First free throw is off the mark. Bohannon's normally a pretty sharp shooter.
Curious thing here too, Austin Davis checking in has 2 fouls. So he's going to have to be careful as well, because obviously if he's going to sub in and keep Hunter fresh in the second half, can't have too many fouls.
Mike Smith dribbles up the floor, across to Livers. Now back to Smith.
See what I'm talking about though with that full court press? Yeah, they got that 10-second call, but it wasn't really anything Iowa did. That's not much of a threat. They're not really trying to press a trap or turn the ball over.
Ball was loose underneath. Michigan gets it back. Smith into the lane. His little jumper is good. 30-26 now the score. Michigan on top. 50 seconds left in the first half. Bohannon dribbles around with it. Smith staying with him. Now across McCaffrey inside the three-point arc, and he's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, Iowa using their, use it or lose it timeout here with 37 seconds. Not a bad call here. Again, we talk about the inability for Iowa, when Luka Garza's not firing on all cylinders, when he's not performing the way that he usually performs, they have a hard time competing in games. First off, like we talked about defensively, I mean, when you look at Iowa, you start breaking down their defensive stats. Okay, they're 11th in the Big Ten in points per game defense. They're 237th in the country. In terms of Ken Palm defensive efficiency, they're 75th. Yeah. So they rely on having a track meet. They rely on these games being high-scoring shootouts. And when their key player, probably the front runner for the Naismith right now, when he is not clicking on all cylinders, this Iowa team is not particularly great, right? Fortunately for Iowa, Michigan is also not clicking on all their cylinders in the first half. They're not scoring well offensively, keeping Iowa in this game. But really, Iowa should have this lead right now.
Out of the timeout, quick inbound to Bohannon. Now cross to Frederick, back to Bohannon. 6 on the shot clock. Wagner switched on to him. Frederick's in trouble. Step back from 3, and it's good. So many shooters on Iowa have that ability. Michigan with a 1-point lead, 30-29, and they can hold it for the last shot. They'll also have the ball to start the second half with the possession arrow.
Yeah, C.J. Frederick is just so deadly, man. I mean, he's shooting 50% this year from 3. Just so smooth right there.
Iowa quickly fouls. They have fouls to give. Michigan's only committed 5 fouls. That's the 5th for Iowa, but the concern for Michigan is that 4 of the 5 fouls they have are on their centers. Davis and Dickinson.
You're going to kind of expect that when they're going up against a guy like Luka Garza. They're going to want to be more physical. I mean, we just watched Michigan State be as physical as they possibly can against a big guy like Kobe Coburn. That's kind of just the thing when you play really good interior basketball players.
Now they give the other foul. 4 seconds remaining as Smith is hacked outside. The team's 6th.
You have 3 shooters on the floor. Now you got Franz, Livers, and Smith. I want to see Smith come up on the double screen here.
They get it to Smith. He's dribbled around. 2 seconds. 1 scoop off the mark. Tipped in by Davis. And that'll count at the horn. 32-29. Michigan will take a 3-point lead into halftime. Not really the half we expected. Both teams shoot under 45% from the field. A much more defensive first half than anticipated, but it is a intriguing game and a close one nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, probably the story coming out of the first half. We talked about the Wolverines' inability to get going, in the interior. Hunter Dickinson is doing a pretty good job, but when it's not Dick, nobody else is really stepping up. The big thing that's sticking out to me right now, we look at the rebounding totals. Wolverines right now have 22 total rebounds compared to Iowa's 13, right? Iowa obviously has their struggles with Garza not scoring, but Michigan is not scoring at all. What's giving Michigan the boost right now is that rebounding. I mean, Michigan has right now total 10 offensive rebounds. They're only 3 rebounds away from out-rebounding Iowa just offensively. So right now that's been a key aspect of the Wolverines game. And, second half, I don't expect Michigan to play this poorly scoring-wise, but I also don't expect Luka Garza to be struggling this much. Should be a good second half.
Well, that does it for the first half, and we will be back in about 10 minutes to bring you the second half. we're back now for the second half in a few minutes between Michigan and Iowa. Michigan 32, Iowa 29. Andy, what did you see in that first half?
Yeah, that first half is really a story of two things right now. Hunter Dickinson's ability to defend on the defensive side of the ball, looking really good. Defending probably the National Player of the Year right now, Luka Garza, holding Garza to really 17 points on 3 of 11 shooting. Another key thing right now for the Wolverines, excuse me, Michigan right now has 10 offensive rebounds, but they only have 7 second chance points. You know, when you get an opportunity to get 10 offensive rebounds like that, you're going to have to convert on those second chance opportunities. Michigan right now, it's weird because you can say they're fortunate to have a 3-point lead, but you can also say that they probably should have bigger than a 3-point lead. You know, Iowa had a couple prayers there. You know, Frederick made that prayer. Bohannon made that prayer. It really could be a bigger margin here for the Wolverines. But 3-point lead, right now they're in control of this game, and we'll see how it ends up in the second half.
5:31 remaining before we resume here in the second half of action. You just look at the box scores. Wagner leads Michigan with 8, tied with Dickinson. Frederick with 9, Bohannon with 9, Garza with 7. Only 3 players for Iowa have more than 2 points. Michigan a bit more well distributed. Davis 4, Smith 4, Brooks 2. Both teams shooting about 40% from the field.
Yeah, quite a different offensive performance than what we saw against Ohio State. I mean, if you remember that first half, Michigan didn't seem like they can miss a shot. They were throwing pebbles in the lake from behind the arc there against Ohio State, shooting 53% at the end of the game. And like you said, now they're only sitting at 40%. So not quite the game that they had against Ohio State. But again, we got to remember, Alex, we're talking about a team right now that's top 5 in the Ken Pom. Iowa's number 5 in Ken Pom right now, and we're complaining about a 3-point lead.
Yeah.
Generally, things are pretty good if we're complaining about a 3-point lead against a team like this.
Both teams now back out onto the floor. Garza in particular played very poorly when Dickinson was in the game.
Yeah.
Really the only stellar offensive performer, actually perhaps 2, Frederick 4 of 4 from the field, Bohannon 3 of 4. You put those guys together, they're 7 of 8 from the field.
Yep.
Every other Hawkeye is 5 for 21, including a 3 for 11 from Garza. Michigan's got Brooks at 1 for 5. Everyone else shooting okay, but the reserve's a real issue. Brown 0 for 1, Williams 0 for 2, and Johns 0 for 3, and then Davis 2 for 4 as well. So,
yeah, I mean, the guys that really have stepped up so well off the bench for the Wolverines, you know, a lot of people give slack about Austin Davis. He looks clunky out there. He's like this country boy, big country that everybody says, oh, he's not this athletic guy, he's going to struggle. But he is actually really gifted when it comes inside of the paint and his back to the basket offense. He's been given that lift for the Wolverines when Dickinson needs that break. And the other guy, the guy I was talking about earlier, and I made this reference, and I'm going to stick to it, I really think Shawnee Brown is the 6th player of the year in the Big Ten. Maybe the country, you can make a couple arguments. There's some good pieces out there. But in the Big Ten, I do think Shawnee Brown is that guy. And he's came out in this game so far and just kind of seemed like he was out of control. He's a fast-playing guy. He plays with a lot of energy. But sometimes when you play too fast, you get out of control and you just never really get into that rhythm. Right now, Shawnee was never really slowed himself down enough to get into that rhythm. You know, 0 for 1, never really seen himself to be in good position offensively, was a little stagnant. But defensively, he's going to be disruptive. But again, Michigan here, they are fortunate to have a 3-point lead. But you can also say, man, they easily could be up by 10 or 11. It's just been one of those weird games.
yeah, both teams definitely had different areas to discuss in halftime. And we'll see what adjustments are made coming out of the half. If we look at this matchup in terms of the NCAA tournament implications, looking at the bracket matrix, which aggregates the different bracketologies, Michigan projected 1 seed in every single bracket. Iowa is seen as a 2 in most brackets. Some have them as a 3. The occasional have them as a 1. But these are 2 teams that will be seeded very highly. Michigan among the 4 Big Ten teams likely to be in the 1 or the 2 line. Michigan, Ohio State, Illinois, and Iowa. And it could make the Big Ten tournament especially interesting down in Indianapolis in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Iowa on the 2 line right now, and it's probably the safest spot. Again, like we talked about, that 2-week, 3-week stretch where they were 4 or 5, or when they were 1 of 5, they had 4 losses in 5 games. That really killed them. But they have a couple really good opportunities ahead of them right now. They beat Michigan right now. If they can close this game out and potentially get a win here in Ann Arbor, huge win. About as max of a quad 1 win as you can get. They play at Ohio State this weekend. Again, another max quad 1 win. They play in Wisconsin at home. Again, a ranked team that they already beat on the road. They can win 2 out of 3 of those games. There's no reason they're not on the 1 line, or not at least flirting with the potential of being on the 1 line, right? So, again, opportunities can happen. They still have the Big Ten tournament as well. But Iowa's always going to be a dangerous team simply because they're so gifted offensively.
Well, under a minute remaining until the beginning of the second half. Michigan will start with the ball. They had the possession arrow. Michigan won the opening tip, and then there was a held ball very quickly after that allowed Michigan to get the possession arrow back. Haven't had any changes in the possession arrow since then. Michigan 32, Iowa 29.
Yeah, again, Wolverines coming out here in the second half with the ball. I'm curious to see what they kind of do with the offense. They really haven't settled into that pick and roll offense that is so dynamic. We talked about how Mike Smith is so good at penetrating into the lane and then dishing it off to the open guy. A lot of times that's Dickinson on the roll itself, or he's kicking out to Wagner or to Livers. So I want to see him slow themselves down and really, really try to develop that pick and roll offense because it's been so successful all year.
Well, out of the huddles, break the 2 teams. Michigan in the home whites, Iowa in their all-black road uniforms. And it'll be Livers to inbound the ball at midcourt with Mike Smith there. Referee gets ready to hand Livers the rock. They're just waiting, I believe, for TV to tell them they're ready for the half to begin. Both looking up at the Jumbotron, and referee on the far side is talking to the scorers about something. Now is the signal about to be given. Looks like some issue with the broadcasters, or the timekeeper maybe. Yeah, I think they're having problems putting the 20 minutes up on the scoreboard because the shot clock isn't on, nor the clock still reads 000, as does the Jumbotron.
Let's just say, as a wise man once said, DJ Khaled, the great, beautiful artist, another mistake is going on here. We got reviews, we got errors, we got
they got the shot clock. Now the game clock.
20 minutes, baby. We're getting there. That's right. We're there. We are there. Let's play some basketball. And the clock is running. There's 3 seconds off, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. The ball hasn't been inbounded yet. Andy Laidlaw taking over play-by-play when the ball's not in. What is going on?
Now they got it back to 20, and now it's not running.
There we go.
And the referee blows his whistle.
Here we go.
Livers inbounds it to Mike Smith. Smith crosses half court and dribbles up the floor. Looks around, passes to Wagner. Wagner to Dickinson. Dickinson spin move, hook shot off the mark. Michigan starts 0 for 1 to begin the second half. McCaffrey comes up the floor. Watched by Eli Brooks. Hands it to Bohannon at the block M. Now dribbles around, hands it off to Frederick. Now across to Wieskamp. Dribbles inside, goes behind the back on Wagner. Now gets it into Garza, guarded by Dickinson, and Dickinson swats him again, and it goes off of Garza's hand and out of bounds.
Death, taxes, and Hunter Dickinson playing elite defense. We're back here in the second half with Hunter just being so poised against Luka Garza. You see a lot of these guys kind of freak out, fall for all these ball fakes. Hunter Dickinson using his size and athleticism to really stop Luka. Great job.
Smith dribbles inside, kicks it out. Wagner to the rack, lays it up and lays it in. Michigan now with a 5-point lead, 34-29. This game's been very close the entire half. No real runs or big leads. Underneath shot there, off the mark. Garza the rebound, but he comes down out of bounds.
Again, it's just the presence. I feel like I'm just going to beat this drum over and over. It's the presence of Hunter Dickinson right there, where Frederick got to the lane and kind of had that front side layup open, but he felt the pressure of Hunter Dickinson, so he tried to reverse and just missed it.
Quick shot by Mike Smith trying to run in transition. He had an open jumper on the baseline, but just off the mark. Michigan trying to take advantage of Iowa's poor transition defense. Now quick step back three is good, and you continue to see the knockdown shooting of Iowa from the outside. Wieskamp was the only guard that really wasn't shooting well in that first half. Bohannon and Frederick did a lot of the shooting for Iowa, but Wieskamp knocks that one down. He's 1 for 3. Smith dribbles around under the basket. Now gets it to Dickinson, backing in on Garza, goes up for the shot, off the mark, tipped around. Dickinson grabs his own rebound, going right back at it, lays it up, no again, tipped around, and Iowa comes down with it from McCaffrey.
Got to kick that out there, Hunter. Reset the offense. You were unbalanced the entire time.
Garza long two is good.
It's a 4-point swing right there.
Yep.
Got to slow yourself down there, Hunter.
Now Mike Smith comes up the floor.
Yeah, Jawan kind of just laid into Hunter as he's walking down.
Yeah, well, Dickinson had his back to Garza for some reason on the defensive end there. Totally out of the play. Wagner dribbles inside, underneath, lays it up and lays it in. Franz Wagner's looked good here.
Yeah, he's just looking really comfortable, man, getting to the basket with ease, and it's got that soft touch, baby, that kiss off the glass. It's just looking good there for Franz.
Now they find Garza underneath, lays it up, no, and the rebound, yes. That one goes down, count it, and a foul. It'll be an and one on Garza, and now the third foul on Dickinson.
I'm curious to see on the review here. We have one of those situations where Garza kind of sticks that elbow out so his elbow can get to the outside of Hunter Dickinson so he can clear space. That's an offensive foul. We'll see here what it looks like. He does it briefly.
Elbows.
He does it briefly. He doesn't really try to clear space. He gets it around and just kind of jabs it in there. But if he holds that there, that's an offensive foul. It's a hook. It's a hook call.
I'm not sure there was,
It doesn't seem like he uses it all to clear space, so you probably can get away with that.
And Garza makes the free throw, so Michigan now trails 37-36. Dickinson going to catch his breath with 3 fouls. We'll see how long Juwan lets him sit. Smith.
Got Franz in the corner. Nope.
With the ball, he'll get it to Wagner. Franz is 5 of 7 from the field in this game. Davis comes around. Screen, Smith goes up for the floater, and he gets it off the glass and down. 38-37 Wolverines.
Yeah, Smith has looked really comfortable when he can penetrate into that defense and sit right in the middle of that zone, right in the middle of the paint there. His floaters are looking good. He's not rushing them. I like it. Good poise there.
Bohannon, quick shot is off the mark. Good defense there, and the rebound down by Davis.
Juwan encouraging Michigan to get out and transition quicker.
Wagner goes inside, puts up the shot, and it goes.
Off the glass, baby. Franz Wagner, again, getting to that lane with a little baby Xavier Simpson hook shot, kissing it off the glass there. Franz coming out in the second half, looking good, baby.
Dribbling inside the paint is Bohannon, outside to Frederick. Good defense from Brooks, shot off the mark, tipped around, offensive rebound, Iowa. There's a 3-point attempt. That shot is no good. Livers has it tipped out of his hands. That should be Michigan's ball, and it will be. Wieskamp challenging to try and run down the rebound in the corner.
Yeah, I like that situation there for Isaiah Livers. The good hustle. There was really nobody around him, but he still sprinted at the ball. He couldn't see anybody around him sprinting with him, but he has the poise and the IQ to know that somebody else is going for that ball. If he takes a lazy route to it, Wieskamp gets that rebound.
And now Wagner, step back 3 is good, and we got an injury timeout.
Looks like it's Connor McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey got knocked down on the screen there, and he definitely looks injured. Is now rolled onto his back, and the trainer is going to come out, as will the coach and his father, Fran McCaffrey, look at him.
Yeah, if Connor's out of this game, and again, I don't want to make assumptions here, but, Connor doesn't really have any astounding stats. He's 4 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists per game. But what Connor does so well is he's one of the best in the country at taking care of the ball.
Yep.
Last year had a 4.6 assist to turnover ratio, the best in the country. You can't replace that. It's so hard to come across here in Big Ten basketball.
He really facilitates the offense, and he's now up and walking gingerly. He'll probably sit down and they'll evaluate.
Oh, there's no contact. Oh, man. He's walking off, so it looks good. But he kind of changed direction and buckled that knee a little bit. He's walking off pretty.
Now he's
running. I think he's fine.
He's jogging down the tunnel, but
yeah. Again, it's always scary when you see a non-contact knee injury. We hear that all the time in the NFL.
Yeah.
When a non-contact knee injury, we get scared, but Connor's running off there, so it looks like he's okay.
Bohannon to Keegan Murray, who's come onto the floor. Garza to Frederick. Brooks watches him. They get Wieskamp coming off the screen, watched by Livers. Now he dribbles into the lane, puts up the shot, and they will call a foul. I'm not sure Juwan Howard was happy about that. Definitely looked like he leaped sort of into contact there.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really weak call there. It looked like even Davis was fading away from Wieskamp, and really, or Westcamp, excuse me. And Westcamp really kind of, like you said, Alex, he kind of lunged right into Davis. Yeah. But the thing that we're talking about, now that's 3 fouls on Austin Davis. Do we go with Brandon Johns? Do we rush Dickinson back on the court? I wonder what Juwan Howard's going to, kind of scheme here with the big guys late in the game. I guess not late in the game, early in the second half.
Michigan leads 43-37 in the early stages of the second half. 15:49 remaining as we hit the under 16 media timeout. Michigan's on a 7-0 run. They've made their last 4 from the field, but definitely very interesting personnel decisions have to be made by Juwan Howard, because really the fouls are not a major factor in this game in the sense that there haven't been very many called on either team. Michigan's only got one other player who has a single foul in this game besides the 2 centers. That's Shawnee Brown with 1. Yeah, Iowa's got 1 on almost every player, but none with 2. And then for Michigan, it's all on the centers right now.
Yeah, that's key. Exactly what you just said there, Drain. It's fine when you only have, 8 team total fouls in this game, or what is it, 7 total team fouls. But when you look at the facilitation of those fouls, that's where you're a little worrisome for the Wolverines. The front court really is obviously in dire foul trouble needs. I'm curious to see. Again, this is part of the depth problems with Michigan. They don't really have another big guy. There's a lot of teams in the country. Like, I like looking at Michigan State, for an example. They have so many guys they can just place at the 5. They got Bingham, Marble, Sissoko, Kithier, so many different guys they can run at the 5 and use those fouls. Michigan really only has 2. And then if that doesn't work out, they got to force Brandon Johns to come in at the 5. When really he's a 4. Again, you see what I'm kind of saying here.
Yeah.
Michigan is really, when they have those 2 big guys in foul trouble, it's going to be dangerous, especially going up against a guy like Luka Garza, where they need that big man to be physical.
15:49 to go in the second half. Michigan 43, Iowa 37. Michigan with a 6-point lead and a 7-0 run. The 6-point lead, I think, is the largest of the game by either team. It is, actually. 43-37, 6-point lead. Iowa's largest lead was 4.
Yeah, 15:49 to go here. Again, you're still seeing Michigan do really well on the boards. Iowa's not particularly a big team. When you look at the height distribution on that squad, you got 6'11", 6'6", 6'3", 6'1", 6'5". They don't really have a true 4. Michigan's got Franz Wagner, 6'9", 6'8" range. Livers, 6'7", 6'8" range. Those guys can play the 3 and the 4 and have those height advantages over a guy like Connor McCaffrey, who's playing the 3/1, kind of that point forward role. You got Westcamp, who's 6'6". You get what I'm saying here too as well. Michigan has that height advantage, and they're doing a really good job of crashing the boards and taking advantage of that kind of height advantage that they have.
Wagner's now up to 17 points on 7 of 9 from the field, and he's made both of his 3-pointers. 2 free throws coming up for Joe Wieskamp. Swishes the first one, 43-38. Second one on the way, and it goes down, 43-39. Livers inbounds to Smith. Cross to Livers. Got to get it up past half court, and he does. Now Smith.
Davis still on the floor with 3 fouls.
Yep. Cross to Wagner. He dribbles in the lane. Wagner comes in and scores, but they're going to call a foul beforehand. But it definitely looks like Franz Wagner starting to emerge as Michigan's go-to guy here in the second half.
Yeah, 17 points right now, 7 of 9 from the floor. Play like that right there is, it looks like Connor McCaffrey's walking back out on the floor, sitting right down on the bench. So he looks good, not gingerly at all. He looks like he's all right. Bohannon was bodying Franz that entire time. Good foul call there.
They inbounded in. Smith to the corner for 3. It rims around and just out. That was a wide open look. Good extra pass there Smith just couldn't knock it down. Iowa comes up the floor. They get it to Garza, and he'll kick to the corner. Dribbling there is Bohannon. Runs into some trouble on Wagner. Now he gets it back, and Franz is going to commit a reach-in foul. That'll be his first.
Yeah, quick reach there by Franz. Again, he loves to do that. He loves to kind of pick people's pockets. Sometimes it works. When you play against quicker guys, they can kind of run in that hand a little more quickly, and that's kind of what happened there with Bohannon.
They inbound it. Garza's got it just outside in the three-point arc. Going to try and back in on Davis underneath. Nice footwork. Lays it up. No! Just off the heel. And Livers comes down with it quickly up to Mike Smith. They'll go to Davis. He's got a massive height advantage over Wieskamp. Davis there lays it up and lays it in.
Yeah, we're giving a lot of credit to Hunter Dickinson in his defensive efforts. Austin Davis is a part of that story too. He's also keeping Luka Garza in really, really good check, and then has a beautiful, sweet little spin move towards the baseline there.
Quick step back three for Iowa is off the mark. Wagner grabs down the rebound. Michigan with their largest lead of the game, 45-39. Wagner continues to dribble it well, finds Livers coming off a pick. Livers into the lane, has it bounce off his hand, dribbles around, kicks, finds Brooks in the corner, full three, and he knocks it down.
Bang, baby. Now Michigan is starting to find their rhythm. Key thing as Iowa takes a timeout here, key thing that we talk about in basketball. When you can break down the defense, getting into the paint, so many different things can happen. You can go up for the layup. You can dump it down to the other block. Or like that example there, Isaiah Livers getting to that left block, swinging it over to the right corner. You can hit that corner three. Eli delivers there, and Michigan in that rhythm now has the largest lead that they've had all game, sitting here now at 9 points.
And Michigan's defense has really picked up the pace. Iowa's missed their last 5 shots, one of their last 7 from the field. They haven't made a field goal in over 3 minutes. And Luka Garza now sits at 5 of 16 from the field.
It's kind of Luka's thing, man. We know Luka is a really good player. He shoots 54 from the floor. The guy's probably going to win Player of the Year. Probably should have won Player of the Year last year. I'm drawing a blank on the Dayton guy's name right now. Oh, man, come on, help me out here, Drain. Dayton guy, Player of the Year last year.
Obi Toppin.
Thank you. He won Player of the Year last year. A lot of people argued. Better conference. Luka Garza played really well against better competition. He should have won it. But the thing with Luka Garza, man, he loves to just throw up shots. When he gets the ball in the paint, when he's confident, man, he just goes. Like, he doesn't matter if teams are pressuring him, if he's spinning away towards his offhand. He just shoots. And he can have those games where he can have those really low field goal percentage games. And we're seeing one right now. Like you said, 5 of 16 from the floor, 37%. Not very good, my man. Obviously not very good. And, Michigan's doing a good job of limiting him. And, you got to give the credit to Dickinson, but also to Austin Davis. Has really played well when Dickinson's on the bench.
48-39, Michigan on top. 14-18 to go in the contest. Michigan now up to 45% from the field, 45% from 3 as well. Michigan's only attempted 2 free throws, and they were the Franz Wagner free throws after the hook and hold flagrant 1, which was assessed to Garza, if I remember correctly. And overall, again, not many fouls in this game, even though foul trouble will be a story for Michigan down the stretch. Dickinson playing with 3 and Davis playing with 3.
Yeah, it looks like Dickinson checked in as he did. Yeah, he's going to be on the floor here for the Wolverines. You got to be happy. If you're Juwan Howard and the rest of the staff there, you got to be happy with the effort Austin Davis gave you there throughout this entire second half, man. He's looked so good defensively against, like we've been saying, man, Luka Garza, one of the best players in the country. Austin Davis has really held his ground, and you got to tip the cap to a guy who's just slowly gotten better through his 5 years in Ann Arbor. Great performance here in a big time game.
Puddles break. Iowa took the timeout. They've now got 2 remaining. Michigan's got 3 remaining.
Yeah, another key thing that we've kind of forgot about, Jack Nunge, the backup there to Luka Garza.
Yeah.
He's been out of the game this entire time, and he just came out of the locker room with crutches on. So it looks like Nunge is out for the game here, and that's where Luka Garza gets his rest. Nunge comes in, plays that 5. Without Nunge, Luka Garza is going to be on the floor the rest of the game.
14-18 to go, and Iowa inbounds it in to begin the next possession. Galloping up the floor is Bohannon, watched by Smith. Hands it off to Frederick. Now across to Bohannon. Back to Frederick, and they go inside. Garza, Dickinson back onto the floor. Careful not to foul. He plays great defense there. Garza misses again. Smith runs up to lead the offense. Bounce pass to Dickinson. Puts it up off the glass, and good.
A lot of contact. A lot of contact from Luka Garza there. Probably could have been an and one. That was Luka Garza shooting. Probably getting a foul call.
Bohannon dribbles around with it.
Easily could have been a legal screen on Luka Garza, too.
They find Keegan Murray in the corner. He knocks down a three. That's big for Iowa to cut the lead back down to 8, as it had swelled up to 11, 58-42 now the score. Murray not really one of the primary sharpshooters, but he had a wide open look after a defensive breakdown. Livers open from 3 from the wing, and he knocks it down. Michigan answers in kind with a three-pointer, and they've made their last 4 from the field. Quickly underneath is Bohannon, dribbling around the paint. Now reverses out to the corner. Wagner lost him. Bohannon's shot, though, off the mark. Michigan got away with one there. Brooks comes up to Livers. Livers dribbling inside. Offhanded scoop, and no good. Probably should have just waited there.
Yeah, slow it down. That's a moving screen there on Luka Garza. Run down the floor and bumps into Isaiah Livers as they both are running. That's a foul every single day of the week.
Bohannon across to Murray. It's the screen from Garza, and Murray's able to make that floater from the lane.
That's such a dangerous play when both guys are sprinting down the floor and Luka Garza kind of bumps into Livers. Luckily, Livers is a very athletic guy and didn't go flying. That's just dangerous, man. You can't do that kind of stuff. It's the same thing that Brad Davison did a couple weeks ago.
Michigan now leads by 9. Smith dribbles around with it into the paint, puts up a shot, and off the mark, tipped around. Iowa the rebound. That was an open look, but an awkward shot from Smith. Wieskamp dribbles into the lane, kicks it out. Bohannon to Murray. They try to go inside to Garza, double team. Nice bounce pass there to find Wieskamp for the two-handed jam.
Yeah, the first time Michigan has double teamed Luka Garza. And I don't think they meant to. It's just kind of how it fell into play. And Luka finds Wieskamp on the really nice cut there, back door. Illinois back in this ballgame, 7 points.
And now Michigan is going to take a quick timeout. And 53-46, Wolverines on top. Iowa's made a quick 4-0 run. And both teams huddling up. Both teams now have got 2 fouls remaining.
Yep, 12 minutes to go here, 7-point lead. Michigan has looked really comfortable and really has imposed their force and their presence when they can get inside that lane. You know, Franz has done it very well. When he gets inside, he can dump it off pretty efficiently. Same thing with Mike Smith. That last play, he got to the lane. It was one of those pick and roll situations where he was kind of in between. He wanted to dump it off, and then he realized he had an open shot, so he just kind of threw it up there, kind of like a double clutch kind of thing. But again, Michigan's getting to the lane. They just got to make shots, and they just got to keep doing it because the kickouts are going to be available. Keep getting the lane. They're going to collapse. You kick it out, you hit shots, you win the game. That's kind of how it rolls.
11:55 remaining in the contest. Michigan 53, Iowa 46. Both teams have now inched back up over 40% from the field. Michigan 45%, Iowa 40%. Garza 12 points, but on 5 of 17 from the field. Wagner leads Michigan with 17, and he leads the game with 17. 7 of 9 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, and has split a pair at the line. Still the only 2 free throws Michigan has attempted. Looking at Michigan's remaining schedule, they are in the midst of a run where they'll play 3 top 10 teams in 4 games, starting with Ohio State last weekend, now Iowa tonight, and Illinois next week. Indiana is sandwiched in between. That's down in Assembly Hall. Hoosiers are scuffling at the moment. That'll be Saturday, and then Illinois here at Crisler on Tuesday, and then a home-and-home with Michigan State to close out the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, there's not any locks on that schedule. Probably the easiest game they got. I don't want to see that none of the games in the Big Ten are easy, but at Indiana, you're hoping the Wolverines can take that one. Michigan State at home, you're hoping the Wolverines can take that one. But Michigan State, man, emerging in the last couple games, you know, they had a really nice second half. They played an absolute putrid first 5 minutes against Indiana. Found themselves down 19-5 at one point, and then slowly just kind of matriculated themselves back into that ball game. And Aaron Henry just led that team to an absolute amazing second half. And then they come out on Tuesday and play Illinois at home and look really, really good. Beat that game, kind of beat up Illinois a little bit. Some controversy with the physicality of Madi Sissoko in that ball game. But hey, you know what? That's one of those situations. You get a flagrant 2 foul, you lose the battle, but you win the war. You can be a little physical. You can impose your presence on guys like Kofi Coburn and Ayo Dosunmu. Michigan State starting to emerge. And you know, Drain, in those rivalry games, good old Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan football program know it all too well. Anything can happen in a rivalry game, so you can't overlook the Spartans the last 2 games of the year. Plus, I didn't even talk about Illinois. Illinois is still one of the best teams in the country with Ayo and Kofi.
Although there is some question about Ayo Dosunmu's health. It appears that he broke his nose.
Yeah, I don't believe he's playing tonight against
He'll
Nebraska.
probably miss a couple, but he could potentially come back against Michigan next week. Out of the timeout, Michigan's got an offensive possession. They've been playing good offense recently. Brooks with it in the lane, now kicks out to Wagner. Wagner finds Johns wide open for 3 from the corner, and Johns shot just off the mark. He likes to shoot it there from the corner, and it was an open look, but just can't get it to go. Michigan now shooting 46% from 3, and then the ball is loose. And Shawnee Brown got his hands in there, and I think that's a foul on Iowa. It is. That's going to go on Ulis, who doesn't play much for Iowa.
No, didn't have a single minute against Penn State last matchup. I'm really curious. Something must be going on with Joe Toussaint, too. Because like I said, man, he's just the most undervalued player, underutilized player on the Iowa team. I just like guys like that are so dangerous. I keep bringing up Michigan State references. It reminds me of Tum Tum Nairn. Just a really scrappy, quick guy.
Now Brooks dribbles around, lays it up, and lays it in. And note on Aaron Ulis now into the game. You may remember Aaron Ulis' older brother, Tyler Ulis, for Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Good ball
Ulis,
player.
who brings the ball up the floor for Iowa. The other McCaffrey's into the game as well. Livers gets a hand in there. That's another steal for Michigan. Wagner running up in transition. Great pass to Wagner.
Slam it home, Isaiah. That's a big run there. Pick 6. Good job by Franz to find the open guy, and Isaiah slams it home, baby.
Michigan now back up to their largest lead of the game with 11 after back-to-back possessions with turnovers for Iowa. Ulis with the ball, guarded by Eli Brooks as we approach the halfway mark of the second half. Ulis into the lane, kicks it out. Wagner almost got his hands on that. Now they go inside to Garza, and they're going to get a foul before the shot on Brandon Johns.
I don't know. It's everybody in the team, everybody in the Big Ten talks about it. When Luka Garza gets breathed on, they call it a foul. I don't see what's wrong with that play there. Brandon Johns is fighting for position. That's not a foul. That is not a foul.
Quick shot there from Keegan Murray. Off the mark, rebound down by Shawnee Brown up to Eli Brooks in transition. His shot off the mark, and Iowa able to grab that rebound. Michigan trying to push the pace there and get another easy bucket. Brooks just not able to get it to fall. That's a tough shot from Ulis, and not even close to the rim. Brown grabs down the rebound.
Great job by Brown to slow it down. Realize Iowa has numbers. 3-on-1, pulls it out. Michigan's going to run their half-court offense.
Johns with the rock across to Livers. Livers dribbling around outside to Eli Brooks. Screen from Johns. Brooks into the lane, hands it off. Wagner. Bounce pass there to Eli Brooks, and he swatted at the rack. Iowa grabs the rebound. Patrick McCaffrey down the floor. Great defense there from Wagner to contest the shot. Michigan might have numbers. Livers comes up with it, kicks it out. Wagner open for 3. That shot off the heel. Johns goes up for the rebound. Both teams just missing on both ends right now. Quick possessions. Now we're going to get a bump on Livers in his guarding of Ulis there on the baseline.
Yeah, really nice job on that last defensive possession there for Michigan. Franz Wagner getting back so quickly and showing that hustle in transition to kind of disrupt that play. You know, man, that's just some things you can't teach. That's the athleticism and the intensity that Franz kind of brings to the game.
Quick open look for Bohannon from 3. That was halfway down and then popped out. And there was definitely some contact on the rebound there. Wagner comes down with it. Michigan's bench was screaming for a foul. None comes. Michigan still up by 11, 57-46. And a chance to make it even more and get a new largest lead of the game. Brown open for three, and he knocks it down. Shawnee Brown from the wing, and now I think we're going to have another timeout called by Fran McCaffrey as Michigan leads by 14, 60-46. Under 9 minutes to go, and this is danger zone now for the Hawkeyes.
Big run here for the Wolverines, and kind of caps it off with Shawnee Brown, man. When he transferred from Wake Forest, everybody kind of compared him to like a Glenn Robinson kind of guy, right? Super athletic, super active and physical on the defensive end, but wasn't really known for his jump shot. Well, he's kind of changed that perspective and changed that persona of himself because, man, he's been really good from three all year. I mean, Shawnee Brown right now is shooting at a really good 41% clip from beyond the arc. And, man, I'm telling you, Alex, he's got a really nice-looking shot. Keeps that elbow in, and it's just clean, baby. It looks good and converts on a nice three-ball there to give Michigan a 14-point lead. Right now, if you're Iowa, your objective coming into this game was to slow down Michigan offensively. Well, they're doing that assuming they're going to score a lot of points. Right now, 8:58 left in the game. They only have 46 points. Iowa, a team that's not typically great defensively, if they're not scoring massive points, not scoring over 75, 80 points, they're not going to compete, and they're kind of not competing right now.
Hawkeyes come up the floor. Bohannon dribbles around with the ball. Gets a nice look coming open from three. Off the mark, Garza grabs down the rebound, and he misses a bunny. Johns grabs the rebound. Iowa has gone ice cold right now. Haven't scored in over 3 minutes, and two more misses on that possession. Mike Smith dribbles around with it. Across to Franz Wagner, back to Mike Smith. Johns comes out, gives a quick screen. Mike Smith runs into trouble. Now flips it out. Wagner now to Johns. A jumper goes down. Wow, Brandon Johns there from distance, just inside the three-point arc, makes that shot. Michigan now leads by 16, 62-46, 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I love the confidence there by Brandon Johns. To face the basket and pull up over the National Player of the Year right now, big shot there.
They kick it around outside. Frederick to Garza. Good defense by Livers, and they're going to get Livers with a foul. 7:53 to go in the second half. We hit the under 8 media timeout. Garza will have a couple free throws out of the timeout. That's Michigan's 6th team foul, and Juwan Howard is just furious right now.
He has a point, though. It's just Luka Garza is getting away with almost everything he does when he fights for position, but when Michigan is fighting for position, it's always a foul on Michigan right there. Again, Luka Garza just looks so frustrating as Juwan's wanting for a hook call, and his assistant coach is getting in between him because he's not happy. But regardless, Luka Garza, after that missed shot there, he was looking to convert on the end one, just kind of put his head in between his hands. You can tell that he is so frustrated right now. 5 of 18 from the floor, 12 points. I mean, everybody used to talk about it, and I think this is where this kind of line originated, when Walter Payton was so dominant with the Chicago Bears, you know, in late, 80s? I think it was 80s, around 70s, 80s, whatever. When he was so dominant, everybody would always say, you can't stop Walter, you can only slow him down. You can't stop him, you can slow him down. Well, you kind of, a lot of Michigan fans and really the coaches kind of wanted to apply that same method to Garza. You can't stop Garza, but you can slow him down. And yes, Garza, a lot of times scoring 40, 35, 30 points. You can't allow that to happen, but you can slow him down. And Michigan, holding him to 12 points right now, they are doing exactly what they wanted to do and make sure that he does not have the capability of taking over a game.
It was interesting there for about 45 seconds to begin this timeout. It was Juwan Howard going at the referee there, and Phil Martelli being the one to have to talk to the team. Martelli was doing the coaching, and it looked like Sadie Washington, the assistant coach for Michigan, was trying to sort of settle things down between Juwan and the referee.
I mean, dude, Juwan knows it better than anybody. The struggle inside the paint amongst big men is one of the most physically exhausting and one of the most rewarding, or one of the worst punishments as a big guy. When you're fighting inside there and you're not getting the calls, but the guy you're playing against is getting all the calls, Juwan knows that's got to be so frustrating for his big guys. So he's doing what he's done in his tenure so far in Michigan. He's having his boys back. And obviously he's frustrated, and some people might say he's got a reason to be.
And it's also worth noting that Hunter Dickinson has now been off the floor for almost 8 minutes, and yet Michigan has now stretched their lead to the largest of the game.
I mean, with Dickinson on the floor or without Dickinson on the floor, Luka Garza has just struggled. He has not looked good. He has not looked comfortable as Dickinson does check into the game now. Again, right now, man, if you're Iowa, you start getting close, and anything can happen in 8 minutes, especially in the Big Ten. But Iowa loves to live and die by the three when they get behind. It's starting to get to that point where they might consider, start chucking up shots behind the arc.
Garza will have a pair of free throws. Garza steps to the line. Pretty good free throw shooter. His first goes down. Iowa 5 of 6 now at the line on the game. Michigan still has only attempted 2 free throws, and they were not related to a shooting foul. Garza's second on the way, and that one goes down as well. 6 for 7 now in the game. 62-48, Michigan on top. Livers dribbles across half court, now over to Mike Smith. Michigan's going to take their time offensively. 14-point lead over the number 9 Hawkeyes. Over to Livers. Gets a screen from Dickinson. Finds Shawnee Brown at the free throw line. Pull-up jumper is good.
Absolute great awareness there. Realizing Shawnee Brown, the play's going to the right side, so Shawnee Brown fills that gap in the middle of the floor and cuts to the middle and finds that open shot. Just really good awareness to fill empty gaps. One especially is wide open in the middle of the floor. Great job.
Bohannon across to Wieskamp. Now they get it into Garza, backing in on Dickinson. He runs into a brick wall, and his shot, though, goes down. That's a really nice finish from Garza.
That's the skill of Luka Garza right there. Hunter Dickinson, 7'1" guy in his face. He just got such a nice little baby hook. Obviously illustrating why he's a good player. Hasn't been in a rhythm today, but right there shows why he's definitely one of the best players in the country.
Wagner dribbles around with it. Now he's going to go to the rack, lays it up, and lays it in.
So good at using his body weight to create space for him and find a good balance to get to the hole. Great job there.
Bohannon off to Wieskamp. Gets a screen from Garza, now across to Keegan Murray. Back over to Bohannon. Good defense by Shawnee Brown to stay in front of Bohannon. Now he's got 12 on the shot clock outside. Finds Wieskamp, now down to Garza, and Garza traveled. And Fran McCaffrey jumped up and swung his fist angrily. Yeah,
I think he's really upset with Shawnee there, because Shawnee was kind of doing his little, he loves to get in the shorts of the offensive player. He was kind of bumping into Jordan Bohannon a little bit there.
And they just teed up Fran McCaffrey.
Huge. Can't do that, Fran. Down 16 right now with 6.5 to go. You pretty much just, I'm not going to say eliminated your chances for your team to win, but you can't do that kind of stuff when you're trying to get yourself back in the game. Fran McCaffrey has a tendency to do stuff like that. Get too carried away, and boom, just really a swinging of the tides when the tides are already swinging heavily in the side of the Wolverines. Can't do it.
And
he's still upset. He's still going at the refs. You're going to get double-teamed, man. You're going to get double-teamed and kicked out of the game.
Livers goes to the free throw line. He makes the first free throw, now 67-50, and McCaffrey was yelling at the baseline referee where they were about to do the inbound, and it was the referee at half court that then walked down and was the one to actually inflict the technical foul. Livers makes them both, and now it's again the largest lead of the game.
He's still going. He's going to get double-teamed. A coach of 11 years.
He's on the floor, too. He's now has
coach of 11 years. You've got to realize, if you want your team to come back, you can't do that kind of stuff. You just gave 2 free points in the ball to a team that's the number 3 team in the country that shut down your offense.
Smith across to Brooks, back to Livers. Now to Mike Smith. Dribbles inside, lost it. Turned over by Wieskamp. He dribbles down, lays it up, and lays it in. Coast to coast there. 68-52. Iowa's going to have to start playing aggressively on defense to try and force some turnovers. Livers up to Brooks. Brooks finds Shawnee Brown. Brown right there puts it up for the easy score. They broke the trap, and Brown able to finish easily. And now he is hounding Bohannon. Bohannon inside, puts up the shot, and draws the foul.
Could have been, I don't want to see the replay on this, I'm curious. Kind of looked like Bohannon's off arm kind of threw it up
Yeah.
Kind of threw his off arm up there and kind of pushed off. Again, Shawnee is just so intense, man, on the defensive side of the ball. You can get those fouls sometimes because he is just so aggressive and so active.
2 free throws upcoming. First one goes down.
And Fran McCaffrey is still just bickering in the ear of that ref. Look at it, he's pointing at him, yelling. What are you doing, guy?
70-53. Second one on the way for Bohannon. That one goes down 70-54. Iowa's 8 for 9 now at the stripe.
Still full court press trap here for Iowa. Again, like you said, trying to get some, trying to disrupt that rhythm of the Wolverines.
Mike Smith hands the ball to Eli Brooks. Back to Mike Smith. Back to Eli Brooks. Goes around the screen of Dickinson. Brooks in the paint. Step back jumper off the heel. But now the clock approaches 5 minutes left in this game. Iowa's going to have to get some points fast as they still trail by 16. Wieskamp guarded by Sean D. Brown. Now across to C.J. Frederick. Dribbles inside, runs out of room. Michigan's defense a little mixed up. Now step back 3 from Wieskamp from the corner. Off the mark, Dickinson the rebound.
Great box out there by Hunter Dickinson. Damn, that's the kind of stuff, man, that you can't teach that. Just a really great job of Hunter using his body weight to box out guards and get a board.
Michigan's going to need to just run the timeout here. 15 on the shot clock. Smith continues to dribble around with it. 4:30 to go in the game, and they lead by 16. They get Livers open from 3 from the wing. That one goes down. Michigan now leads by 19, 73-54.
Bang, baby, right there. The little stuff adds up, and when the little stuff is flowing, you can afford to do your big things.
Bohannon inside easily for the layup, and Juwan Howard a little aggravated about how easily Bohannon was able to break inside. Here comes full court press from Iowa, and Livers is going to take a timeout. 4:04 remaining. Michigan will have 1 timeout remaining. They lead by 17.
Juwan Howard right now is at the other sideline on Michigan's side of the court block, instructing Mike Smith, and once he gets inside that lane, to kick it out there. And you get, like as he's illustrating right there, when you get into that block, right, you can go either out in the wing where you just came from when someone's replacing from where you just drove from, or you can kick out to that, short corner or that corner behind the arc. And, Juwan is just illustrating that to Mike Smith. But, Juwan is just such an energetic coach. I was sitting there. Obviously, where we call our games, we're about, 20 rows up. I just went down before the game started, as Michigan was coming out of the locker room, sat 3 rows up and just watched guys come out. I watched Isaiah Livers come out. I watched Mike Smith come out, Adrian Nunez, Austin Davis, Franz Wagner. And when all those guys came out, that first little set of them, 5 or 6, every single one, as they were passing every manager or every single staff worker for Michigan, they were giving them knucks, or they're giving them a high five or something like that. In order for these star players like Isaiah Livers and Franz Wagner to do that, and they weren't just doing it just doing it, they were doing it with a smile on their face, cracking jokes. I'm pretty sure Brandon Johns is one of them too. That just shows what kind of culture that Juwan Howard has built with the Wolverines and has built in his 2 years at the University of Michigan. These guys play for each other. They don't play for just the dudes in the jerseys. They play for the dudes in the polos that are also college students serving their time as managers. They do it for their assistant coaches. They do it for each other. And you can see it on the court. You can see it in their performance. And again, right here, 17 points, just dominating this basketball game.
73-56, Michigan on top. We'll see whether Iowa, how they come out of this timeout, because you have to play a full court press to try and force turnovers, but it is a long way to come back from 17 down with 4 minutes left, and whether Iowa is still mentally in this game will be one of the questions out of the timeout.
First and foremost, how I would approach this last 4 minutes from Iowa. You're going to keep trying to do your half court, full court trap, whatever, but you got to be more aggressive with it, where you're trying to stick guys either in the back corner, so where they're inbounding the ball in their full court, you stick them in that corner, or as soon as they cross a half court line, you stick them in that corner, try to force turnovers, maybe try to get a pick 6 or whatever. You try to disrupt defensively. Offensively, you got to start hoisting shots, man. You got a bunch of guys on your team that shoot over 40% from 3 to start hosting shots. You got to play the 3-2 game. You got to get 3 points, give up 2 points. you might get back in the game if you're approaching the game that way. But the cherry on top, you're talking about the momentum. Are they in this game mentally? Kind of hard to stay in this game mentally when your coach gets teed up with 6 minutes to go, trying to come back from a 16-point lead. Takes you out of the ball game.
Iowa shooting under 40% from the field. That may be the most impressive part of all of this for the Wolverines. 33% from three. They are at 89% from the free throw line, so at least there's that saving grace. But it just hasn't been their typical offensive performance, and when it's paired with substandard defensive effort overall, just not where Iowa wants to be in this game at the moment.
Nope. Luka Garza is on the bench with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know if it's an offensive-defensive substitution going on.
And Tony Perkins is into the game. He hasn't played at all in this game. Number 11 onto the floor. They go with Toussaint, Frederick, Perkins, Murray, McCaffrey. That pretty much is the white flag from Fran McCaffrey, if you ask me. And you're not playing. You're not playing any of your main players outside of Frederick.
Yeah.
This is four bench players.
Wieskamp is on the floor as well. But
they come up. Said, yeah.
What are you doing here? I mean, I don't know if it's an offensive-defensive substitution, but you can't do that when you're down 17 points.
It may be trying to send a message as they go into Ohio State, trying to fire the players up for the next game. Mike Smith dribbles around with it. He steps outside the three-point arc. Now we're going to get a foul underneath on Toussaint.
I've seen crazier stuff happen than seeing a team come down, or come back from 17 points with 4 minutes to go. I've seen crazy stuff happen. Waving the white flag this early, is Fran McCaffrey inside of his own head right now? I just don't know.
Has to be very frustrated with his players, you have to think, at this juncture. They go inside to Dickinson, and he's hacked. It's now the 5th team foul on Iowa. They've still got a couple more to give.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know, Drain. I don't know what you think about it. I'm just mind blown. Just give up this early. It's questionable to me. I know it's 17 points, but anything can happen. You have 4 minutes to go.
Cross to Livers. Now inside Dickinson, double team, beautiful pass. Brooks open for three. That shot off the mark was wide open, trying to stretch the Michigan lead to 20, but Wolverines ran a full 30 seconds off the clock on that possession, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Toussaint, pushing off Eli Brooks.
You know what I love about this team? The distribution of offensive success. I mean, so many times you see Michigan have 3 or 4 guys in double figures. Against Ohio State, they had 5 different guys in double figures. Looking at the starting lineup right now, Dickinson with 10, Livers with 16, Wagner with 19, Brooks with 7, Smith with 6. They really can facilitate the well on the offense side of the ball, and they're doing it today.
Dickinson with the ball. Hands it off to Mike Smith. He had a little lane to shoot from 3, decided not to. Now they get it to Dickinson. Beautiful pass. They continue to fire it around. Good closeout there from Toussaint. Now they go back inside to Dickinson, and he draws a foul underneath. That should be a shooting foul. And 2 free throws upcoming. 2:57 to go in the game. Michigan leads by 17.
Man, it looked like the Splash Bros Golden State Warriors just swinging the ball around the perimeter, waiting for someone to get an open shot. But when you're up 17 with 3 minutes to go, you don't got to force anything, right? You find it, you find your lane, you find the high percentage chance. They dump it down to Dickinson, man. He's going to the line. A very good free throw shooter as well. Shooting at a really good, about 76% clip.
He makes the first, and with this lineup that Iowa is running out there, there's really nobody anywhere close to Dickinson's height. And that's why Michigan continues to give it to him here in these final couple minutes. The second one goes down. Now it's a 19-point game, 75-56.
Right, well, like we talked about earlier, with Jack Nunge out of the game, that's your backup center. They don't have him.
Quick pass to Tony Perkins. Shot is off the mark. Ball on the floor. Livers trying to find it. Now it's corralled by Iowa. Saved as it was about to go out of bounds. Settled down Murray to Ulis. Ulis is switched on to Dickinson. Ulis is going to have a little bit of an agility advantage. Swings it across. McCaffrey open for 3, and that shot clangs off the mark. Iowa just has not been able to shoot the 3 at all in this second half. Even their open looks like that one can't drop.
Isn't it kind of funny and almost ironical that Michigan's up by 19 right now, and they're so rolling with their starters, and Fran McCaffrey gave up 3 minutes ago?
They find Livers, flips underneath, looking for Dickinson, puts the ball down, puts it up, and his shot's off the mark. Missed a wide open look underneath. Ball is loose, and it's going to be held for an Iowa jump ball. They'll have the possession arrow.
this is the culture as well. Michigan's up 19 with 2 minutes to go, and Hunter Dickinson is laying out on the floor to fight for loose balls. That is a product of a coach who's setting a culture and an expectation to go as hard as you can every single play. They're up by 19 with 2 minutes to go, and they're still going 100%. Gotta love it.
Quick dribble inside, and the shot goes up and off the mark for Toussaint. 2 minutes remaining. We'll see if Michigan, they've got Shawnee Brown ready to come back in. Doesn't look like the bench players will get to come in this one, but Garza continues to sit on the bench.
Yeah, you can see Zeb coming out here, Adrian Nunez,
Yep,
Jace
now here
Howard.
they've gotten up now. They're starting to
Stretch out
jog.
a little bit.
First free throw for Toussaint goes down. Garza, in all likelihood, day is done. He will finish with 6 of 19 from the field, 16 points. Just a truly dreadful performance from him. Second free throw for Toussaint pops out. Dickinson the rebound. Michigan leads by 18 with 2 minutes left. Eli Brooks runs up the floor. Finds Wagner underneath to Dickinson. Spin move, and he had his shot blocked. Gets it back and puts in the rebound.
Stat stuff up, baby. Get that bucket. Get those more points. Stuff up that stat sheet, Hunter. You deserve it.
100 seconds left in the game. Perkins dribble drive on Eli. Now the ball is loose. Brooks takes it away. 90 seconds left.
All right, Juwan, call timeout here and get your freshmen and walk-ons on the floor.
He continues to watch.
Maybe he's just sending a message.
Brooks dribbles with it outside, guarded by Toussaint, or rather Ulis. Hands it off to Wagner. Gets the screen, dribbles inside the paint, puts up the shot.
Oh! Cherry on top, baby! What a shot there by Franz Wagner.
Banked in from distance. Iowa comes right up the floor. That shot is off the mark. Livers grabs the rebound down. 1 minute left. Now, Howard's going to call a timeout, I believe. Well, he's got his bench players up, taking off their stuff. Now here comes the timeout. 50.2 to go in the game. I
think we're going to get our first check-in from Brandon Wade on this season. I don't think he's played in the game yet this year. Number 4, the transfer from Tecumseh, actually Ann Arbor native.
Yep.
Really a lot of potential. A lot of people thought he would have a role this year in that front court, or excuse me, in that back court. Brandon Wade's got a good future.
On the floor.
Interesting. I'm gonna see how he does here. I'm curious to see if he's gonna run the point.
Jace Howard, Zeb Jackson, Brandon Wade, Terrence Williams, and Jaron Falls are the 5 out there.
Zeb at the point. Nice little combo, 6'4" guard.
Falls across to Williams. We'll see if they try and get Wade a shot. They quickly find Williams underneath. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Williams backing in. Fadeaway jumper. Left it short. Rebound down by Iowa.
T. Welch trying to get his.
Quick come up the floor from McCaffrey. Fadeaway jumper off the mark. Tipped around. Up into the air. Zeb Jackson grabs it. They don't have to take another shot, but they might because they're the backup.
They want to. They don't have to.
They want to, and they're not going to. Michigan's just going to hold it. Wow. And they will win by 22. Their largest lead of the game will be the final margin. 79-57. An absolutely dominant defensive effort from Michigan, holding Iowa to 36% from the field and 32% from 3. And they blow out a top 10 opponent at home, move to 12-1 in the conference, and closing in on the Big Ten regular season championship.
You know, what did we talk about coming in this game? I had 2 major stories, 2 key factors. It was going to be the battle between Hunter Dickinson and Luka Garza. I don't care that Luka Garza outscored Hunter Dickinson, 16-14. Luka Garza took 19 shots. He shot less than 33% from the floor. Hunter Dickinson was 6-13, shot a solid, what does that end up being, like 46-47%. Shot a really solid play from the game, or a really solid, field goal percentage from the floor. Luka Garza was just out of sorts all night, whether it was Davis, Brandon Johns, Hunter Dickinson. He just could not get in his rhythm. And when he's not in his rhythm, Iowa doesn't have the defense to keep them in ball games. When their offense is not functioning, their defense isn't keeping them in the game. And they weren't able to stop Michigan very well. Michigan ended up with 79 points. I mean, we were frustrated. I felt like Michigan didn't play the best game that they did. And they just walked out of here with a top 5 Ken Pom win by 22 points. Impressive performance.
Michigan wins at 79-57 over the Iowa Hawkeyes. Another great win, and they have moved to 12-1 on the season. They'll be in Assembly Hall on Saturday, and then back here at Crisler Center next Tuesday against Illinois. Adam Bressler will be on that call with Andrew Miller. And then we'll have another game next week on Thursday against Michigan State. Adam Bressler and Charlie Goodwin on that call. Until then, for Alex Drain and Andy Laidlaw here at Crisler Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan 79, Iowa 57. Good night and go blue.